Okay, so this is a Kickstarter video for my video game project, Knightmare. Now, this is Joe. He's an average 10-year-old boy in the fantasy medieval land of Bravia. He has no real powers or abilities or anything. He just wants to grow up and be a knight. Now this is Shadow. He is a shadow creature. He's very much an anti-hero. He's ostracized by his fellow shadow creature brethren, and the two make a formidable pair. Now this is the Grand Wizard. He lost his wife to a great illness, so he wrapped himself up in arcane research to try and find a way to bring her back. He started experimenting with dark magics and necromancy, and as a result he got banished from the land of Bravia. Now these are the shadow creatures. They are relatives, I suppose, of Shadow. They were actually summoned up by the Grand Wizard during his many experiments with black magic. They are the main villains of the game. They are the level-by-level enemies that you will face. Now, the main concept of Knightmare is Joe sets off to rescue a knight who is kidnapped by the shadow creatures, and that's it. There is no great evil to be defeated. There is no epic quest. It's just a 10-year-old boy with a big helmet trying to save a knight. Now, to do this, he teams up with Shadow. Shadow becomes his mount, his trusty steed, and together they must jump, dash, charge, and slash their way through levels. The pair have several abilities available to them. Joe can use knight powers. Using these, he can block, he can attack normally, or he can charge attack. He also has access to something called parry mode, which is essentially bullet time for swords. When he approaches an enemy, an on-screen prompt will appear, and if the player times it right, gameplay will slow down to a bare minimum, and the player can hack and slash at the enemy at will. Now, Shadow, being a creature of darkness, has a similar set of abilities available to him. He can jump and slide over obstacles and under obstacles. He can dash forward at speeds. He can charge forwards through obstacles. And he can activate Shadow Armor, which essentially blankets him and Joe in perpetual darkness, making them invulnerable. Using these basic abilities and maneuvers, the player must guide Joe and Shadow through 20 levels of increasing difficulty and amazingness. I chose the Nintendo 3DS platform for my video game because I thought it fit in well with the pick up and play gameplay style. I also made it on rails to add to the feeling of the player being along for the ride and not really being in full control, because a lot of the gameplay's emphasis is actually on speed and it being high octane, edge of your seat sort of stuff, you know, sort of like I really wanted the player to feel like they were literally clinging on for dear life, you know. I believe it's referred to as Twitch gameplay, you know, it's all reflex based, and I know that the gameplay may seem simplistic, that's because it is to a certain extent, but I was hoping to appeal to the hardcore demographic by adding resource management. Now, Joe and Shadow's abilities are actually powered by ability bars that get automatically refilled by ability bubbles. Now, each character has 2 ability bubbles per level, so it's down to the player to effectively manage these resources to get them through to the end of the level. I was just hoping that that would appeal to a wider audience. You know, put a bit of strategy in there. The pair aren't out to save the world. They aren't facing some cataclysmic evil, you know, they're literally just out to try and save a knight. Why Joe does this, who knows? He just wants to try and help, I suppose. But it's through the 2 characters' sheer pluckiness and likability, I suppose, that the player just wants to see them succeed. You know, it's they're not out to save the world, but you don't care. You know, it's a 10-year-old riding a giant purple blob. You know, you just can't help but feel, yay, go you. Influences and inspirations come from the old 16-bit days of Super Mario and other top-notch 2D side-scrolls, I suppose. I just felt like the modern games industry was getting a bit jaded and a bit serious, so I thought, why not try and interject a bit of fun back into gaming. That's why I said that the pair aren't out to save the world, you know, there's no great big bad to face, there's just 20 levels of fun gameplay, basically.